In this lecture, we will cover plant tissue systems. Look at this picture. Now, this is a transverse section of a plant part, be it stem or leaf. If we cut it transversely, we will get this kind of picture. Now, here you can see that this particular TS has three different sections in the entire picture. The outermost layer is the dermal part, which forms the epidermis or outermost layer. After this, there are certain cells arranged in different patterns. This layer is known as the ground tissue. And the inside, the innermost thing is your vascular tissue, which is responsible to transport water and nutrients. So this is how a transverse section looks like in a plant tissue. Now, these different areas, that means the dermal layers, the ground tissue and the centralmost vascular tissue, they are made up of different types of cell. That's what we are going to understand in this lecture. First, let us take up dermal tissue system. The types of cell which are found in dermal tissue system are namely epidermal cells, guard cells and trichomes. Where are they present? Towards the periphery of the plant part. So when we take a transverse section, the outermost layer will be of dermal tissue system. If we compare the structural aspects, epidermal cells are flat cells tightly packed and they are meant for protection. They reduce water loss. That's how they save cells from the water loss during transpiration. Now they can be of different shapes like jigsaw, wavy or rectangular. Guard cells and trichomes, they are not actually epidermal cell, but they are specialized, they have specialized functions. For example, guard cells are part of stomata. They are crescent shaped and they have chloroplast. That means they can perform photosynthesis. And what is their major function? Their major function is to regulate gaseous exchange through the stomata. So they are responsible for the opening and closing of the stomata, depending on the turgor pressure. Now, trichomes are hair-like extensions which come out of the epidermal cells. They too are responsible for reducing water loss. And another function of these trichomes is to deter herbivores. That means those animals or insects which feed on plants, they try to stop them by releasing toxic substances from the granular glands below them or through just like a spray, they emit the toxic substance. This slide gives you the details of the dermal system. Here you can see how the dermal tissue, the outermost tissue looks like. They can have multiple or different types of shapes, and this is what is called trichome, that the hair-like extension from the cells. It can be present in root cell as well as in the leaf cell. And here the right hand side, the picture shows guard cells as part of the stomata. In this particular picture, it is closed one. When they are open, they are like crescent shape, or they can acquire the kidney bean shape. So this is the nature of your dermal cells, dermal system cells present in a plant tissue. So next comes the ground tissue after the dermal system. Now, ground tissue, there are three important cells which you must be very familiar with: parenchyma cell, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now, parenchyma is a living type of cell. They are thin-walled, spherical or barrel-shaped. They perform photosynthesis. Your mesophyll cells are actually, they are parenchymatous cells. They also store and they participate in transport. Now, in some cases, they can also become chlorenchymatous or they can even become transfer cells. Now, collenchyma, on the other hand, is similar to parenchyma in being living cell, but they are irregularly thickened and cellulosic walls, they are present in the cellulosic walls. They are meant for mechanical support in the growing tissue. Sclerenchyma, on the other hand, uh, unlike parenchyma and collenchyma, sclerenchyma is dead, lignified, and they are part of secondary walls. They support non-growing regions of the plant. So in this transverse section, it is very clearly visible that the outermost epidermal cells, they are flat, tightly packed, and below that, this is the ground tissue uh, layers. Here you can see collenchymatous cell, which are living cell, tightly packed and thickened at the corners. Then these are the loosely and irregularly arranged parenchyma living cells. Here you can have chloroplast within this, so they can be photosynthetic in nature. And towards the end you will have sclerenchymatous cell, which are dead cells and they are part of non-growing part of the plant cell. Finally, the third type of tissue system is the vascular tissue system. In case of plants, vascular tissue system means it is responsible for transport of nutrient and water. Now here again we have different types of cell for different functions. So vascular tissue system is present at the centralmost part of the plant structure. Um, so there are two types of cells, xylem and phloem. Now xylem cells can be again classified into tracheids or vessels or xylem parenchyma. Now xylem tissue, basically they are dead with thick lignified walls. This is in case of tracheids and vessels. So what are these? Xylem tracheids are dead cells with thick lignified walls. They conduct water and mineral. And vessels, they are also part of xylem. They have perforation plates through which water and mineral can pass. Now xylem parenchyma, unlike tracheids, they are living parenchymatous cell. They store and they are responsible for lateral transport of water and mineral. They are part of soft plant tissue. The other type of cell from the vascular tissue is phloem cell. Now again, phloem cells can be of sieve elements or they can be companion cells. Sieve elements or phloem, they are living, thick, primary walls and without any nucleus. And they are responsible for food transfer. That means the carbohydrate that gets synthesized during photosynthesis is transported to other parts of the plant through phloem sieve elements. They are connected by sieve plates. Companion cells, on the other hand, they are small, parenchymatous, and they are nucleated cells. They regulate sieve element metabolism. They act as control center for the sieve tubes. That means vascular tissue system, xylem and phloem both together, they are responsible for the mineral, water and food transport in a plant. Consider this transverse section. The ground tissues are present in the centralmost part of the section. If you enlarge this particular centralmost portion, you might see this kind of arrangement where phloem and xylem is arranged. The arrangement of xylem and phloem can be different in different plants. As in case of this particular section, we can see here that this orange part represents the xylem and the green ones, they are the phloem. Phloem is responsible for the food transport and xylem is responsible for the water and mineral transport. Together, vascular tissue is responsible for the entire nutrient, mineral and water transport. The direction of this movement also is important. Water is transported from the roots to the aerial part, whereas food is transported from leaves downwards to the root cycle, also laterally to other aerial parts of the plant. In our next lecture, we'll start our discussion on photosynthesis, the most important physiological process that can affect plant produce or crop production. Till then, thank you.